Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We're the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
Hey, we got it. A week and a half. And
We've gotten it.
Yeah, I know. I almost forgot how to
okay.
start it. I was like, how do we start this again? It's been a week and a half.
Come on, we've done this for 176 episodes.
Hey, that's a good way to do the episode
number. And I have said the episode number at least 5 times out of those.
I wonder how many times, if somebody wants to go back and tally up all those and see how many times Lowery has said that episode number. That's pretty good. So yeah, episode 176, like Lowery said, we have quite a crazy episode. This one took a lot of work, probably not more than the Salty 64 to get put together. Definitely not.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of work to tabulate all these numbers. But what is on the topic? What is on the docket for tonight?
All right, so we had the Hateful Eight round of the tournament, and we have winners and losers and the Fuck You Four to talk about after that.
Fuck these four. Fuck
these four.
Fuck them. Yeah. The four that we're left with.
Just not the fucking four, because that'd
be a very fun thumbnail to make. I can do it. Tempted to do that.
Boy.
But it'd be a little bit of work. Yeah, well, could I do it with all 4 of these? Let me just check out these pictures here. That one would work.
That'd
be
we also think we're going to have time. So we have a Stump the Smith ready, but if we go
Stump the Smith's going to be in there. We're doing Stump the Smith.
It is?
And then we're going to go, it's going to be in there. So
Okay, so we are doing Stump the Smith.
But I was thinking it was right away, then I don't really have anything else. Well, I guess I do have a backup if we do need to get to it. But the meat and potatoes, the pizza and beer of this episode.
Yeah, so Adam came up with was pushing this idea for a couple of weeks, and
Is that your way of saying that if this doesn't work or if people don't like it, that it's my fault?
Absolutely. So this is the best color by the numbers.
By the
numbers. And it was a very frustrating segment for me personally to put together.
I noticed that you waited to do your part until after I sent you numbers. I'm like, okay, this is what I did in this and this. You're like, okay, so what'd you do to do that?
So I just
and then I think you ended up spending
we'll talk about it
more time than I did on it. Like
absolutely.
I think you went
absolutely.
You were tabulating each count, each one. You're like, that one's good, that one's bad, that one's good. So yeah.
No, there's just different things that I was just like, okay, we'll get into it when we get into it, and let's see if I can.
It's
whatever.
The whole tabulation or taking by the numbers, like Larry said, the best color in Magic. So just kind of going off of the main topics of what you need to make a good commander deck. By the numbers, we're going to tell you what we're going to reveal the number one color and the worst color, and it's going to be a surprise. Guarantee it's a surprise because it surprised the shit out of me that we have it where it's at, and then we'll have a little discussion afterwards. One spec this week. I believe next week will probably, you could even start this week, but Modern Horizons 2 has been out for 2 weeks now. I just opened my boxes. Oh, I'm not on the good for you. There we go.
Oh, good for you.
Those arrived the day I was going on vacation. So like I'm driving up to the cabin and I get a notification on my phone. Your cards came in. And I was like, fuck. Like,
but I would have been late this week.
Yeah, well, and the thing is I couldn't have opened them anyways because I did want to do a live box opening, so I wasn't going to do it up where I had zero service. That was the shit. It was so fucking frustrating.
Fine.
It was so frustrating.
Oh, you mean like the 3-hour upload of YouTube? 4 hours?
My gosh, it took forever.
Yeah,
that was insane.
So go and check out that YouTube because it was painstakingly uploaded.
Right. That hour
in a lobby
took 4 hours to upload. So there was some, and that was the longest for me editing too, because have family there and the kids are playing, and so I was editing in like 30-minute chunks, and then finally the night before I was like, oh shit, I'm just gonna get this done, and I stayed up until 1:00 in the morning editing.
Blech.
That wasn't fun. I learned my lesson that when I go there again next year, I'm finishing all that before I even leave because it just wasn't good to even have that there. And also Cindy said she did not like it that I was doing that mixed with work. That was just not good. But
fair enough. Fair.
So yeah, cabin was good. I'm strictly on a diet starting today because COVID and summer and food and everything has gotten away from me. So I'm still drinking this. This is a whiskey. Oh shit, where's the bottle? It is.
You're gonna okay.
What is it?
Weed.
It's open cellar or weed open cellars. It's a straight bourbon whiskey. It does not taste like weed. It's Weed Cellars. I think it's a brand. Weedsellers.com.
Oh.
So yeah, pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's
It's actually
definitely so like whiskeys, they're like secondary option, and they're like, we sell weed, but also whiskey. Just in case you want to do this
brew
shit.
the whiskey with our weed in the barrels. I don't know. It's pretty smooth actually. Very expensive bottle. This was around $40 for this bottle here. So.
What do you think would happen if you took like the bad weed that like dried up and you weren't gonna smoke or use? I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about smoking weed. Is that good or bad? What I just described? But you just like sprinkle that shit into like a bottle of whiskey.
Isn't that probably what they do with those weed beers? Because those ones, the hemp beers, man. Remember we talk about them every time I drink those.
Yeah,
it tastes like I'm smoking pot.
It's great.
I don't know.
I think. I don't know.
I don't know. What are you drinking, Larry?
I am drinking. Let's see here.
Oh, that's a cool. Oh, Bit of Honey.
From Tin Whiskers. So it's Bit of Honey is that little like penny candy that's old school. I don't even know if they sell that shit anymore. So it definitely smells like it, and the more I drink it, the more it does taste like it.
Okay.
Like the first like quarter of a can was like and I'm on my second one, so it's getting better and better.
Either that or you're getting better
as alcohol
better.
does.
Yeah. You're looking mighty fine there, Larry.
So, but it's honey and almond, which is how they got their flavoring on this. So there's almond in this beer.
Interesting.
Warning for any.
So is
allergies.
it I would drink again, meh, or no, thank you? You're drinking two of them, so it's at least the second one. And we were trying to do our rating system that was really terrible.
Good. Good, bad, or okay. Yeah, this is okay.
You're not gonna,
it's not a terrible rating system.
If you see
it's
that in
fine.
the store, are you going to buy it again?
No, because there's different beer that I haven't tried and or better beer that I have tried.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Like FAD, that's good stuff. Fucking Awesome Delicious is accurate. This is a blonde.
Yeah.
With honey and almond. Yeah, like it's fine. I like it. It's good novelty and nostalgia for me.
Yeah, it's a cool can. It's like one that you don't even want to open and just have the can.
And so, I mean, it's fine. I'm glad that I bought it. How about that? I'm glad that I bought it. Is that another part of the rating system? Good, bad, okay, glad that I bought it?
You added all that stuff in there. All right. So I already wrote that. Going on a diet. Yeah, I'm the heaviest that I've been. Well, since my app thing has told me, like, it's just like, all right, I'm glad that we started this diet. We had talked about before going on the trip. We're like, we can't go on a diet when we're on the, out on the cabin and all that. So we're like, when we get back, let's start it. So we fucking went to town. Like when we got back, we got back.
That happens.
Thursday, and like we were just like eating out at all our favorite places. We're like, diet starts Monday. The Chris Farley bit. So we played Scribblish up there. My dad, I found out,
Fantastic.
is very inappropriate with his drawings. He drew a woman spread with legs wide open and three babies coming out of her. He had
three.
Yeah, because that was what it's supposed to be, triplets, and for some reason
maybe he doesn't know what that means. Like it doesn't happen all at once. Yeah. It's just one at a time.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of tears and laughing. We did find there's a couple cool games we played, like Cover Your Assets. I'll have to show you that game sometime. That's a fun game. Learn that. You knew Saboteur. So we played that
that's
up
a cool
there.
one.
We actually, there's expansions to that one, and all that. And then got back, and this is how you can tell that we've been doing this for a few years. So Drake has gotten into like building Legos. He's really good at it. He went from having me to build it, like getting me the pieces as I ask for them, which takes forever because it's like, you know, he's searching for it.
No,
and
not that one.
Yeah, I'm looking right at it, and he's like, to now he can build it himself. He just asks for help every now and then, or if he sticks a piece in the wrong spot, he needs me to take it off, whatever. So he asked Cindy if he can do what Uncle Lowery and Daddy does and make Lego stuff while make a YouTube channel. He wanted a YouTube channel. So
I'm down. That's cool.
we recorded his first one. What was that? Saturday. We got him. He's all in the Minecraft and set up my phone camera, and it was a 2.5 hour long thing. So now I'm about to learn how to do fast forward because you don't want a 2.5 hour long video for that. So I have to make it down to 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So created a monster there. So that's pretty much all I did in the last week. Anything happen with you, Lowery? No.
I'm good.
But a week and a half, and you don't have anything. You're just drinking Bitto honey. Yep. All right, fine. Okay. Oh, I did want to say one thing. Jaw turned me on. Well, got to finish that sentence. Turned me on
baby.
Jaw turned me on to an app, and I don't know if it's for everything. I know at least it's for iPhones, but it's MTG scanner from Dragon Shield. And
Okay.
dude, that's awesome. Like, it's really sweet.
What does it do?
So
you can scan it, right?
Yeah,
I picked up that part.
It pulls up your card. Well, so you can categorize it. So right now I'm going through my collection, and right now I have it as I did Toolbox Planeswalkers, and then Toolbox Artifacts is what I'm on. I'm like halfway through Artifacts. But it scans the card, and then if it's the wrong edition, it normally gets it. But I'd say like half the time, maybe 25% of the time, it has the wrong edition. And so then you click on it and you spin it to whatever one it's on. And then you can click foil, and it tells you the price of the card. And then you go add, and it adds to your collection. And so you can do all these different things. Like you can have a collection, you can have specs, you can have trades, you can do all this stuff. But man, it's been really slick to just add my collection in. So I found out like my Planeswalker toolbox is around worth of cards, I think, or no, Planeswalkers. Cool. But yeah, so I highly recommend it. I haven't used anything like that before. I would say the only thing it has trouble with is remember the Mythic Edition foils?
Yeah.
When they first started doing the full art foils, for some reason it has trouble picking that up. So if you can't get it to scan, you can type it in. It's pretty easy. But I was going to mention that for people if they have an iPhone. I'm not sure if it's on the others like Android and stuff like that, but it's really nice. Like, and you can import if you have it saved. I haven't done that part, but you can import it onto the app as well. And it keeps track of prices, obviously. So like I input those Planeswalkers, something must have dropped because then it shows the price has gone down since I've input it. So it fluctuates where it's at. So, all right.
Pretty cool. Does it show from when you put it in or just what it did that day?
So you can do it right now. How I'm doing is when I put it in, you can do when you bought it and doing the price. You can even input the price of what it is. I will say it takes the bottom price. Like it takes probably not what it's selling on eBay and maybe not even what it's selling on TCG. For some reason, the price of stuff, and I'm like, there's no way that foil Planeswalker is going for 23 cents. You know, no Planeswalker foil, especially.
It might be like a trade-in price or something.
Yeah, so it does take the bottom, but I'm fine with that, just kind of seeing at the very bottom of what prices are. But I'll tell you this. In the artifacts, when I get to my artifact toolbox, in 2 pages, it already surpassed all the Planeswalker, all my Planeswalkers, because the number 1 card, and I got to get, good for you, The number one, my first card that scans is Mana Crypt in the
Oh, good for you.
which I didn't realize. It said it was $800. Is it really $800 at this point?
It's up there.
That's insane.
I don't know. I don't own that version of the card, so I don't look at it.
Fucking insane. Anyways. All right. Let's get to tags and all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So you can become a patron. Did I grab the right one? Yes, I did grab the right one.
I mean, it's the same thing that we do.
I know, but I added a little bit.
I'm just saying. Oh, did you? Okay.
All right. So you
can
you can support the show by becoming a patron by donating $1 or more. $1 gets you into the Discord, gets you to play games like we played on Saturday. Played some cockatrice. We can play some whatchamacallit, spell table.
CAC.
And then also a little bonus that happened on Saturday as I was just fiddling around trying to go live with it. You may potentially go, if you're playing with Lowery or me, go live on YouTube, and we just post that video as well. So that's going to be happening a little bit more regularly when we have time and all that. But gets you into the Discord to do that. $5 or more gets you the Proxy of the Week, and if you're $100 or more lifetime, it makes it so you can pick any proxy during the Proxy of the Week, picking each month from any of the Proxy of the Week stuff. The free way to support the show is to go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, check out our videos, like a couple of them, maybe throw in a comment here or there, say something like... What?
Go. I'm doing the push, so... Enchanted Evening I did last week for the Curated, and we got to 959 views, and then it just like stops. So if some of you are on YouTube, just go check it out. I want to break 1,000 on that.
1,000.
That'd be pretty
Let's
cool.
See if we can get 1,000. Yeah, for sure. It's a minute long, and I don't even know if you have to watch the whole thing, but watch the whole thing.
It's 55.6 seconds long.
Yeah, and if you watch the whole thing, it adds better to our stats and all that, and makes it more viewable. But we haven't had a curated break 1,000 yet, and actually it'd be our second video that's over 1,000 because the only other one is the 29,000 view whatever. From
How to make a proxy.
Yeah. But so yeah, that's a perfect point. If you're listening right now, hop onto YouTube. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube. That's another way that watching us on YouTube, you see our faces, you see the cards that we talk about. That's a great way to support the show as well. And then you can also see what Larry just talked about, Curated MTG. What was your Curated MTG as of this week?
Today, I guess Monday, I put out Mycosynth Lattice, and having the same idea concept as Enchanted Evening, turning everything into artifacts, and just ran through a bunch of cards on how they work and why they're cool. And I don't know what I'm doing Thursday.
This is your most expensive Curated MTG you've done so far, right?
Yes.
Yep. So the interesting thing with that is on the Saturday night games that we played, and you can check out that video, by the way. We have that one, whatever. You can see my two huge blunders. The first one deals with Mycosynth Lattice. So early on, Noah, Paradigm Shift, had Void Winnower out. Jaw's hand was all even. My hand was all even except for one or two cards. Gwen had mostly all even except for Windfall. So she windfalled, I refreshed my hand. Then I was able to start playing, but Jaw still couldn't play anything. We went through like an hour and a half of that game with Void Winnower on one way or another, because then Gwen got it after she killed Noah's, and so no one was able to play anything. Well, I was able to play stuff, but I wasn't able to play Treasure. No. Dockside Extortionist was in my hand.
Yes.
So goes around. Noah plays Mycosynth Lattice. He searches for it. He doesn't play it, so that's how he's able to get it out. And then I comes around to my turn. I attached. So I was playing Daryl. I had a Shia, which was like a 12/12, but then I added Trample and all this stuff. I added what's your card, your pet card that we just talked about on Discord today, Shadow Spear. Added that to it. Yep. She was gonna let it go through, and then I added that to it. So then she blocked with Void Winnower, killed it, and then I go Dockside Extortionist, 37 treasure tokens. But here's the problem. Here's the big F up, and you'll see it in the video. I don't know why I censored myself there. But I swore that Noah had a counterspell because I cast something, and he said something like, "Oh, I'll let it go," kind of thing. And so
Yeah.
I was trying to draw out his counterspell. I had the Comet Storm, and each of them was below 30 or at 30, so I could have killed all three of them at the same time.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to waste all my treasures and
Get countered.
right. And so I was trying to take it, I was playing spell after spell, and mind you, I drew 6 more cards because Jaw had 6 zombies that I gave him, and then I killed them all. So I had I had a mitt full of cards, but I kept trying to draw out that damn counterspell. And then when I realized he didn't have it, I couldn't kill one of them. So
You'd used all the treasures.
I didn't use them all. I had them down to 17, but at that point I was like, all right, I'm just going to wait. I still had a lot of cards, but I was like, fuck, this sucks. And then I ended up not winning and whatever. But anyways, it was a really good combination. You talked about it in Curated MTG.
I did, yeah.
With having that. It was amazing. Like, the funny thing is, I didn't even think of that. Like, I was just like, yes, I get to play Dockside Extortionist. Gwen has all these, mono rocks, and so does Noah, and Jaw didn't have anything out. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to at least get like 10. And then they're like, everything's artifacts. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So yeah. It was a good combo. Okay, so back to it. Other videos you can see is Proxy of the Week. I've only did 2 this past month, but I did a bunch of cards. So we had Black Lotus a couple weeks ago, 3 versions of that. And then earlier was Vampiric Tutor. But I'll get back on that. Those are typically live. Is there anything else? Oh, so we'll start streaming some more games on there. Spotlight is going to be coming on there pretty soon as well. And there's lots of videos we have coming. So yeah, check out YouTube. That is a free way to support us. Also, follow us on Twitter. That's where you can see the voting for the Salty 64. You can see Proxy of the Week. You can see Curated MTG. You can interact with us or shoot us a direct message. Or you can just shoot us an email at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. All right. That's it. We're done. Moving on. Now I got to get back to my buttons of a thing that we haven't done for a very, very, very long time. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Savant.
I'm probably gonna be rusty. That's my thought. Is rusty.
What was your thought?
I'm gonna be rusty.
You're gonna be rusty?
Yeah,
all right. It's been a long time since Salty 64 started. We haven't been doing this because it's just been taking up a lot of time. So how this works is I'm going to read the flavor text of a card. Lowery is going to try to guess what the card is. He's only going to ask yes or no questions. Every yes, he will hear this.
Hello, boobies.
Every no, he will hear this.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Starts off with 100 points. Every wrong guess is minus 10 points. Every clue that he gets is minus 5 points. Points don't matter. All right. This one comes from Matt the Monorock, or Matt Maduro. Maduro, sorry. So he got this one to me a couple weeks ago, but then we got busy with last week's was really long and all that stuff. Yeah. So here we go. You might be able to get this. This one might be tough. All right, here we go. When there is no one left but ravens, the swarm will rise and rule all. Lost prophecy of... Ooh, I didn't even practice this one ahead of time. It's Svogir... Svogthir. How would you use Svogir?
SVO... what?
Gthir.
Svogthir?
Fucking words. When there is no one left but the ravens, the swarm will rise and rule all. The lost prophecy of that S word.
The S word. S dude. S name, dude.
Mr. Sfo. He's so Sfo.
It sounds like in my head that name is very similar to the main character name in the wind, Svoth.
Oh.
Svoth? Okay, whatever.
That's your
Been a
book.
long time since I read that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the swarm could be what? Could be slivers. Could be when there's nothing left but ravens, and then the swarm.
When there is no one left but the ravens, the swarm will rise and rule all.
That doesn't make a ton of sense.
This one's a little tough.
It's definitely tough.
I'll give
I
you a
want
free
to
hint. You would have seen this in the last 2 years. Anything before that, you would not have seen this. But
So it was printed within the last 2 years?
yeah. I might have made it more confusing.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just
So
checking.
is this card?
Let me say it this way. It didn't have a flavor text until in the last 2 years. Before that, it was printed before that, but never had a flavor text.
Is this a black card?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Is it a green card?
Hello, boobies.
Okay. Okay. So swarm means something roughly. When there's nothing left but ravens, then the swarm will rise up to rule all. The what the fuck? Is this a creature card?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Is this like a card that no.
When there is no one left but ravens, the swarm will rise and rule them all.
Jesus. I am so lost. Okay, so this is originally printed. Was it before? Well, that's not going to help me. Cuz I'm just so fucking lost. Okay, so what's going to help me? What are they talking about? Swarm, a swarm. Are they talking about slivers?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Do you want a
Okay,
hint?
so-
I can give you a hint.
Yeah, okay, yeah, hints are a thing still, right? Okay. Yeah, I'll take a hint.
It's originally from Ravnica.
The original Ravnica? Okay, so the swarm is Golgari. That makes sense. When there's nobody but ravens, and the swarm will come up.
The problem
and rule
is,
them all.
like I said before, didn't have flavor text until the last 2 years. I would say a year and a
Last
half.
2 or
Year and a half. It didn't have flavor
Year and
text
a
before that. What happened about a year and a half ago? What first got introduced?
Secret Lair?
Hello, boobies.
So it's a card that's in a secret lair that didn't have flavor text before because the reminder text is so long.
Okay, so this was. It's the green Life from the Loam?
Hello, boobies.
There you
That was
go.
it, huh?
Yeah.
I would have never
I
gotten that
know.
without the help.
Well, and I was looking
Jesus.
at Matt's clues. It was 2 ravens in the picture. I was like, he fucking won't know that. But then in the
Like
next
of
one
the
was-
Secret Lair one?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, no way.
Then it-
I couldn't even picture that.
Then it was it's Gitrog's best friend. That would help a little bit. And then
Yeah.
the secret layer was Restless in Peace. I was throwing in
No,
just
that would have
hints.
been fucking.
I know. This
That
was-
would have been.
it was a tough
I
one.
appreciate that. I needed all the help on that one I
Yep.
could get. That was fucking
That was
tough.
tough. Yeah, I was like, man, the flavor text doesn't even help with what the card does. But you get what I was saying with the reminder text is why it never had flavor before that because it
Yeah.
was just
Yep.
it's so long with that. All right, let's continue with this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
We bring you the saltiest cards in Commander with the Salty 64.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Salty. 64. Salty. 64. Salty. 64. Salty.
Y'all ready for this?
You know, I was thinking about it today. When we do our next bracket, what the fuck am I going to do? We're going to have to think of something different. That worked out perfect, unless we always do like the let's get ready to rumble and think of something else.
And then you just, yeah.
Mama.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first, it's a long intro. I'm surprised that you haven't cut it down to like 2 times. Salty.
You mean just doing it, saying it. But no, you have to get the, y'all ready for this? You got to get that whole thing. There is never a good cutting
Do you?
point. What a dick.
Sorry.
All right. So what happened last week? We had 4 matchups, 8 cards. Pretty much what we thought was going to happen with the 3 happened. Maybe one was a little closer than I thought, but still was more of a blowout. But the one that was the hardest one was the fucking battle, dude. It was within a vote up until yesterday, and then it's within 2 votes, I think, is what we ended up with. But why don't we do what we've been doing? Let's start with your side of the bracket, Lowery. And what was your first matchup, and how did that go?
So my top seed is still in it at Static Orb, and it beat Send Triplets at 70% rate, which it should have done, and it totally makes sense to me.
Yep.
So Static Orb being a badass is awesome.
And then we had the second was the other of your orbs, Winter Orb, going against Mindslaver, and 83% to 17% Winter Orb takes it. So we have the Cup of the Orbs.
Yeah. The Cup of Orbs. So yeah, we have Winter Orb versus Static Orb, and I have no idea what to expect here.
I don't know either. Like,
is it going to be a blowout?
No.
Is it 51, 49%?
This is a battle. This is what should have just gone from week 1, and just because this is what I had in your finals. But I think I had. Did I have Winter winning it? I might have had Static making it, but I might pick Winter. Untap because you're dealing with
Static Orb is worse.
I mean,
Static Orb includes lands.
It does, but I guess. But it's less.
Static Orb is
less
worse.
But Winter Orb is less. You're only doing.
What do you mean
one.
less?
Like you're only doing 1 land.
Static Orb is like 2 permanents, so like you can't attack it all. Like with Winter Orb, you could be like, okay, let's just attack this player and kill them.
Commander anyways? Who attacks in Commander anyways?
That makes more sense why it feels like I do all the work. But no, Static Orb is way worse. It just affects more of the board, but it's not played as much as Winter Orb. And so people are going to be butthurt about Winter Orb a lot more.
I think Static is more abusable as well because you can tap it and then you could take advantage of untapping.
I think Static Orb does that too, or Winter Orb. I think they both do that.
It just on Winter Orbs, unless they change the errata on it, on the actual card, looking at it, it doesn't say.
Yeah, on the errata.
Let me. Time to pull it up. Gather.
Yeah.
Might as well know. We gotta make sure you guys are voting for the right thing here.
Whatever. We're gonna cut all this out, and
as long as it is untapped. Okay, Winter Orb.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right with that. Let's make sure.
A few minutes later.
Let's make sure.
So if you tap Winter Orb, you can untap all your stuff. So it's disgusting in like an Urza deck that you can just like.
So they're both
tap
abusable.
Yes.
But Static allows you to untap 2 permanents, but that includes everything, whereas Winter Orb is just your land and only untapping 1. I don't know. That's gonna be a tough one, dude.
I don't know.
I
think it's an easy pick for me.
Well, it's
but I
because
don't
you're
know
number
what
1 pick.
is gonna.
Your number 1 pick's still in it. Mine is not.
That is true.
My pseudo number 1 pick is in it.
You mean your change?
Well, no. Like my number 2 pick was kind of my what I would probably have had my number 1. but I don't think it's
Okay.
going to win. That's the thing. Because
Okay.
let's move over to that side. All
Okay.
right. So I guess which one went first? I don't even know what the higher seed is. I think, Stasis is my higher seed. So Stasis went against Vorinclex. And this, like we said last week, was the battle of the week. And it obviously was that. It ended up with 54% to 46% in favor of Stasis. Was within a vote as of yesterday, and then kind of pulled a little bit ahead today.
Whoever votes Monday morning, 1 hour before the everything closes down, they got it in.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we got that. That was, I thought Stasis was gonna win, but it was tough. Like I could see Vorinclex.
I've seen those are the two that, along with Hull Breacher, have the most votes.
Yeah. You notice? Okay, well, let's get to the next one. What happened with the final matchup this week?
All right, so Hull Breacher versus Opposition Agent, and it wasn't even close. Hull Breacher wins by 83% versus 17 against Opposition Agent, and Hull Breacher is like a real problem, right?
Yeah.
People fucking hate this card.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it takes out Stasis. I
think so too.
I think this is an easier pick than the orb battle for me. One thing I do want to point out is, you notice what the finals are? Two blue cards. And two blue
Two
cards
artifacts.
and 2 artifacts. Fucking blue.
But also look at the full length of it. Stasis keeps things tapped. Winter Orb keeps lands tapped. Static Orb keeps everything tapped.
And
Hull Breacher doesn't allow you to fucking draw.
Which,
like, these are awful cards.
Yeah, this is,
and 3 of the 4 have very similar effects.
I don't know. I think Hull Breacher is gonna have a. I think this is gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be its closest week, obviously, but I think it's still gonna. This will be a bigger win than whatever happens with your orbs. I think the orbs is gonna be just whoever votes on Monday is the win. Chooses the winner.
They get to choose.
Yeah. What do you think? You think that Hull Breacher is gonna take this one too? Then.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
So, hypothetically, Hull Breacher wins, and Static Orb wins probably with yours.
One of the orbs, like we said, it's going to be close.
Where do you see the future matchup of the finals? The last two.
Hull Breacher versus.
I think that's gonna be definitely Hull Breacher's biggest match. I don't know. It'd be tough for me. I mean,
okay, so.
Hull Breacher's so new. Isn't it crazy? It's so new and it's here.
Hypothetically, does this make Hull Breacher like a huge issue for Commander?
We knew it right. You said it right away when we were doing the Commander. When we were
I'm not looking to toot my horn. Toot, toot, toot.
Tough guy sniff.
It's a card that's really, really brutal.
Yeah, you had said it if you go back to November, December, when we did our top 10, I don't know if we said it on the cast. I'm pretty sure we did, but we put it as our number 1 card. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or it was in the top 3. And then we mentioned that this is a card that could catch a ban, if anything. We weren't going to say it was going to. It's just, it's that good. That it could catch a ban.
And people fucking hate it. Clearly.
I mean, I said it from the beginning, and when I picked it, when somebody plays Hull Breacher, if I have no way of killing Hull Breacher, I am killing that. My focus is that player. Even if there's somebody that's the strongest over here.
Yeah.
Because both you and I do the same thing. Our decks are tuned to draw cards because we don't tutor. So a lot of our stuff is multiple draws.
Yeah.
Hull Breacher just shuts that down, and they get a benefit from it. They take treasure tokens whenever you're drawing. It's a great card, but it sucks. And so the player that casts it, if I don't have an answer,
this effect shouldn't occur.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion.
What was going on with that
I got
voice
a bubble
there?
in my throat. Sorry. It's
that
the bit of
bubble.
honey.
What would that be? Due to your throat?
But it's it's gonna get swollen here. So Gross.
What are we talking about again? What's getting swollen?
Hull Breacher. We're talking about Hull Breacher.
Oh, he's getting swollen.
So,
All right.
like, if it should be like, if you're drawing an extra card, you get a treasure token.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Shutting down and getting
Smothering
treasure.
Tithe is that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's too similar to Smothering Tithe, but like,
No,
just
that-
think if Smothering Tithe didn't let you draw unless you paid 2.
Right.
Everybody'd fucking like pay the 2.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't think Notion Thief or, you know, Narset, like, there's a reason why Leovold is banned.
Yeah.
So it's not good for the format.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see what happens next week.
Well, we'll see what it is. I think a more interesting matchup would have been Hull Breacher versus Foreign Klex.
Oh,
Number
yeah.
2 would have been much more happy. Like
He would have been
like,
voting on
fucking
his
Foreign
multiple
Klex.
accounts.
He even skewed. Stasis probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stasis probably won by more than that because
of number 2?
cheats. Yeah.
Okay, so that is the fucking 4, fuck these 4, whatever we're gonna call it there. Just fuck those 4.
Yeah.
So to win the prizes again, remember the winner of this whole thing, how you win the expropriate and the static orb, which are the 2 things we're gonna give out at the end when we do a drawing, is you just need to retweet the tweet that says you can win these 2. And I put it out in the thumbnail on Twitter. Just retweet it with a comment saying whatever one you're picking. Now, if the one
So this week you're picking between like Static Orb, Winter Orb, Hull Breacher, or Stasis.
Right. And if
those should be your picks right now.
if you've had Vorinclex the whole time, like number 2, you can now change it. You can still win. You can pick one, and if that wins next or this week and next week, you get your name in twice. So that's all you have to do.
And it's also going to be really nice for us to be like, number 2, you are wrong because Vorinclex isn't making it into the final 4.
You can still retweet it
sorry.
and say Vorinclex and just be wishful that it was you
Yes,
wanted it to
you
be
could
there,
do that,
but you won't
like,
win
that's
anything.
crying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's all you got to do, and then after next week, and we have the winner, we will go through and see how many times each person picked it.
Yeah.
And we will put everybody's name into a hat and draw that, and you'll win both cards. So both pretty expensive cards there. So that's pretty sweet. All right. So that is it for Salty 64. Remember, it's for voting also. Hashtag, well, you can see it on, just go to our Twitter because there's only 2 now, so it's easy to vote for that. All right, so now we are getting into, what are we getting into? Oh, best color by, I don't have an opener for that.
Oh, we don't have.
I don't have an opener.
Can we go back to rock, that hard rock music?
Yep, got to turn it down. Lowery lost his headphones because he was rocking out so hard. You can see that on the tubes if you want to check.
That went pretty.
Yeah.
I missed that. It felt good.
All right, so this is best color by numbers in Commander, Magic, whatever. Commander is what we're kind of focused on, obviously, here. So what we did here is we broke it down, kind of going off our blueprint list. If you go back blueprint actually is almost, it's over, just over, maybe almost a year ago, because that was at the cabin last time when the blueprint idea came out. So we're coming up on the year mark of that. So we went off of some of the things when you're making a deck, what you should have in it and stuff. So what every deck should kind of have. So we have mass removal, we have spot removal, we have draw, we have recursion, protection, and ramp. Now we know that that's not everything to make a commander deck, and that you should have, like, there's scry and there's other things like that. But these are your main. This is your beer and pizza of a deck. This is what you need to have to make a good deck, a competitive deck to at least have fun with games. So what we did was we split it up and we went through each category and did searches for all of these for each color, doing the same thing for each search and just taking the numbers of how many there are. And then actually going through, and this is a little bit more kind of combing it a little bit and figuring out, okay, well, this one
Yeah.
really doesn't fit. Yeah, it fit in the search whatever, but it really doesn't. That's not what that does or whatever. So we took out those cards and all that and kind of fine-tuned our numbers. So it isn't just like kill all and then just write down the number. It was more of we fine-tuned it a little bit. So I'll start us off with mass removal, and then we'll go into spot removal with you. So, and then how this is going to work is the number 1 color in that category will get 5 points. Number 2 will get 4 points. Number 3, 3 points. Number 4, 2 points.
I would like to say this isn't like a perfect science either, because you could weight different categories stronger than others.
And that's what
we didn't do that.
No, we'll break that down at the end a little bit more. This is just like the title, by the numbers. This is the best color by the numbers. If you're just taking the numbers, this is how this should all kind of shake out. Because there are better cards in each topic. Like maybe a color doesn't have a lot, but the cards that they have are used in every single deck. You know, like white uses this every single time, even though they aren't strong in that category. They use it it's in every single white deck, and it's a freaking staple. So, so mass removal. How I kind of did this search is I did a couple things. I did like exile all creatures, or no, exile all is typically what I did, or destroy all. Damage was a little more tricky because how I kind of did that was I did damage to all, but then I only counted things that were like 3 damage or more, because it didn't seem like mass removal if it wasn't anything more than that. Then also graveyard removal. So anything that removed everybody's graveyard, I did that. I did artifacts, enchantments, creatures, permanents. So those are the kind of the topics, and lands. I forgot that I didn't write that on there, but lands as well. So I included all that for mass removal. So here's how the numbers shook out. Going to start off with the bottom and work our way up. So number 5 in the mass removal category was blue. Only had 24 different mass removals. We did have like a little side note there. Larry pointed out bouncing. I missed that. And so there was a few minutes later type thing. I had to do some calculations where we were doing that, but it ended up still evening out correctly. But it had 24 removals. So anything that dealt with bouncing stuff to your hand is really what blue's forte is with that.
Yep. It's removal per se.
And then green was 4th with 31. So they're pretty close. Green's main one is actually more of like the damage to flyers. So that's its mass removal.
Needle
and dealing with some land destruction as well. There's a little bit of that in there, like your the green
wave of vitriol. And
so there's,
I gotcha.
There's a couple in there. These are all pretty dang close. But so then 3rd was red with 38 mass removal. Their main focus was destroying all like artifacts. Oh, that's the other part of green.
Everything. Jockle hops.
I forgot about green is a focus also on destroying enchantments. That was also its thing as well. But red is everything, artifacts, and damage. So your blasphemous act type thing. So that was the main focus with red. 2nd place was black, and that just deals with a lot of destroy all creatures or exile all creatures. -1 or minus X whatever to creatures. That had 47. And then the winner, obviously, is white in this category with 80 different mass removal spells.
Quite a bit.
And that one deals with a lot of same thing as black. Black and white are pretty similar in this, in that white destroys and removes a lot of creatures and stuff from the game. So in that one, white comes out as the winner with 5 points. And our lowest was blue in that, but they're all pretty close. I mean, 24, 31, 38, and 47. And then white was just kind of the clear-cut winner. So we move into spot removal. Since we're talking about removal, how did everything shake out with the spot removal, Larry?
So I will also start at the bottom, and then we get there. And then we here. So green spot removal is they have a lot of like enchantment artifact non-creature removal. They don't remove a ton of creatures, except for flying, which I may have missed in my calculations as well. But they were at 237 instances of spot removal. Second would be blue, which also I might have missed bounce. There was just so many different, like, what do you consider? Because like mass removal, I would consider bounce, but I don't know if I would necessarily consider like unsummon a removal card. Because it's just one, you're not like discombobulating, like, okay, what am I going to do? You're just going to be like, okay, do I want to play this or not? Like, so blue was at 293 instances.
So that came in fourth, right? You were saying?
Yep, that is fourth. White came in third with very close of 302 instances. But
wow, I would have thought white would have been higher on that. That's kind of crazy.
But I would say about 290 of those are like unplayable. So because like they deal with a lot of enchantment removal, which isn't bad, but like all of their creature removal is like power 4 toughness or more, or tapped or attacking or blocking, and it's all very conditional removal that's overpriced, like 4 mana plus, and you're just kind of like, these are bad,
right?
But they still have like the premier removal in path, swords.
Yeah,
those cards like are hard to cut. You just don't. And then you had
number
black.
Wait. I should get. Oh dang! I was gonna drum roll. Number 2.
Number 2 would be black with 485 instances of spot removal, and one of them that I found interesting was there's a lot of like spot removal for land in there, and you wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, I mean they did it more early on,
but I mean they're still doing it. Think of that new one that came out in Double Masters that destroys target land that is like a snow land or produces colorless. So they just like always have kind of sprinkled
you mean
in.
Modern Horizons
2, what I say.
Double Masters.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing. I didn't buy boxes of either. I feel bad. Yeah. So, Sinkhole, you have a couple of good ones, and then you have like a lot of bad ones that are similar to what like Red is dealing with nowadays.
And then Red came out number 1.
Red came out number 1 because I allowed basically all damage to creatures in, and so again, there was 644 instances of removal.
What was Black's at?
485.
Okay, so you got to buy almost 200.
Yeah,
almost.
So like I was counting like deals 1 damage, deals 2 damage, because it is just spot removal, and if you're having it in there, it is what it is.
Something. Yeah, you're not going to hit something for 1 damage and not kill it, or have a plan. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, and like what you were doing with Wraths, you did 3 damage or more, because that makes sense, because
you're trying to hit more than one target.
If you're just dealing like 1 damage to a bunch of creatures, it's like you're going to kill like 2 or 3 on the board.
Right.
Like, that's not really a Wrath.
Right.
So that's it's definitely lopsided in my opinion, because I think Red does really well with Wraths, but I don't know how much spot removal I have of Red other than like Chaos Warp in my head. So yeah.
I don't use Blasphemous Act. Well, that's mass removal. Spot. Yeah, you're right. Spot is a little different. Yeah.
So it's definitely different. And the other thing that we didn't really bring into consideration was like multicolored cards, because that just adds a lot of different like categories.
Well, because then you're not in the specific colors. All right, so then next category. This is gonna be the fastest one, because all I did for the search was just go draw. Yeah. And this is just instances of like cards that say draw a card on it. Right. So this is pretty straightforward. There wasn't this. Yeah. I feel bad that this was mine, because it was the easiest by far. It was just draw. So in 5th place, can you guess what would be in 5th place?
White.
You are correct, sir.
That's easy.
108 instances of draw occurring on a card. Fourth place, what do you think came in?
I'm going to go with red.
You are also correct.
There we go.
164 with red. What do you think came in third place?
Green.
Gosh, you're good at this.
Yeah.
214 green. And second?
Black.
Obviously.
Black.
220. So that was within 6 points of green. So green and black are really close there.
Real close. Okay.
And blowing everything out
Yeah.
was blue at 667
Woo!
different cases of draw being in there. So blue by far. There
far.
not anything breaking down there. That's kind of how the spectrum is for draw. So
I think that's an interesting bit. Like, keep that in mind. So red got up to 600 in spot removal, like just large numbers beyond, and then blue just got up to 600 in draw, and just far beyond whatever everybody else was getting. So just laying that out there for the end at least.
mental note, foreshadowing.
Am
all
I
right,
going with
so-
ramp here?
Yeah, I believe that. No, your
You want
next
me
one
to go
is
recursion? Okay.
Recursion.
So recursion, this one I try to keep pretty simple. What I typed in to Scryfall was return from graveyard. So that could be to hand or to play. And so in fourth and fifth place, it was a tie between blue and red at 45. Yeah.
35?
Yeah, 45.
45. That's crazy
Yep.
that they tied.
I don't even can't even tell you what they did. You know, the bringing back instances, sorceries, artifacts, stuff like that a little bit. In third place was green, which is they do a lot of bring back, eternal witness, regrowth. They have that kind of effect, and it was fairly. That was 93.
93, okay.
93. So it basically doubled
up.
on the blue and
Yeah.
the red, which makes sense. White was fairly close, so not too far beyond green. At second place was 106 instances of recursion. And they do a lot of artifact and creature recursion, which is like bringing it back into play. And then black, which is the recursion color, was double of what white was at 224
Okay.
instances of recursion. They just have the raise dead, bring a creature back to your hand, bring it, just doing that a lot of times. So.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, so then my last category, but not the last one, we'll have ramp as our final to finish this all off, was protection. Protection was different. It was interesting. There was a lot of different ways I did searches for this. First off, just did protection from, did a search. Indestructible I counted as protection. Damage prevention.
Yeah.
I also did like anything that had hexproof or shroud or cannot be the target of spells and abilities. It was that one. This one took me by far the longest because I had to, there's a lot of cross referencing. Like when you do back before they had hexproof and shroud, they would just use the words cannot be targeted by spells and abilities. Well, you'd have to make sure that when you type that in, it would pull up shroud as well. So I had to kind of, mess with all those numbers. So in fifth place, what do you think was fifth place, Lowery?
Black.
For protection. No, it is actually, that's fourth place though.
Red.
Red was at 69 instances with protection. Yeah, 69.
Gross.
Was red. Black was with 83. What do you think came in third place?
It's either blue or green. I'm going to go with green.
It was actually blue at 91. So
Okay.
red, black, and blue were pretty dang close. Actually, green jumped up at 203. So that was a
Wow.
big jump between.
What
yeah.
is it, like the hexproof that's going on, or?
The damage prevention stuff.
Oh.
Because you got to think of the fog effects and all that stuff.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. That makes a lot of sense.
So, but then by far, white, obviously, because it's white, has 517. So that came in first. That's
quite a bit.
The number one protection color.
So we have We have
Go ahead.
white represented, red represented, black represented, blue. Are they all getting represented
Let's see.
by like a wide
White,
margin? Because
blue,
green's going to be ramp, by the
white.
way, if you didn't guess that. If you didn't guess.
Red got one. Your first one. What was your first one? Red was
Damage,
spot removal. So
Yeah.
yeah, every color. Wait, when did black get represented? Oh, recursion.
It had the most
Yeah.
recursion,
Yeah.
like double.
So every color and foreshadowing what's going to happen here.
All right.
Lowry, why don't you
Right.
get us to what happens with ramp?
We'll start out with the lowest, which I stretched it. Okay, so ramp, I typed in add, which it was to cover like creatures that tap to add colored mana or mana of any version. Basic land, and then a land type, so like forest for green, mountain for red. And can you guess what is the lowest totem pole for ramp? By a
Ramp?
far margin. Maybe not
Red?
far, but no. It is white.
It is white?
Yeah, oh yeah. 18 instances of ramp in white. I was just like, what?
Oh, I guess red would have treasure in it, wouldn't it? Or did you
I didn't
not
even do
treasure?
treasures. I forgot about treasures, and I forgot about Eldrazi like sacrifice
Sign.
tokens. So those could be added in. I'm not quite sure where that's going to land, but none of them were going to touch green. So I
Right.
just kind of was like, fuck it.
Yeah. So how many instances with white?
White was 18.
18. All right.
18.
So then red.
And
is red
I think I
next?
cheated with that too, because I'm pretty sure I didn't do land tax because like no, but then like later I was just like, well, we can do that creature that taps and put a land into your hand, right? We could do that. Let's
The
just
Wayfarer's that dude?
yeah. I mean, I was just like, that's the best they got,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well, you got like smothering tithe type things, but that's not really ramp. That's just
yeah,
taxing.
no,
kinda
that's
thing.
ramp. That's for sure.
Did you
ramp.
kinda- okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So,
Did you
fourth
count monologue
place-
tax?
Yes, that one should count. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so second was blue.
You mean fourth?
Fourth, second worst was
Was blue.
Was blue.
Wow, okay.
and they have some
Yeah, I guess
awful mana ramp.
Yeah, I guess they really do. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was thinking creatures that tap, but that's pretty much all they really have, right?
So they have cards that
few?
like are very situational ramp where you can tap and it's like add one for an instant or sorcery spell, or add one for an artifact spell, or add one for cumulative upkeep, and you're just like, oh my god,
What the fuck?
oh my god.
This doesn't help me at all.
I should have cut that, but I didn't because
I'm just going to play an artifact monorock instead because
desperate.
this sucks.
So it is. They were sitting at 25 instances of
The other was 19.
mana ramp.
So they
Yeah.
were really
No,
close.
18.
Oh,
Yeah, they're pretty
18,
close.
really
But
close.
blue has 100 times better cards with like Urza and there's Vidalcan Engineer and just cards that
I
like
wouldn't
tap
say
for artifacts.
better than white though necessarily.
Yes,
They've been well, I mean,
absolutely.
think of Smothering Tithe right there, and monologue tax. Like the stuff they've been adding lately has been really good.
I
mean,
still would say Urza's like 100 times better than Monologue.
How many
Tax.
times do you see Urza over Smothering Tithe? Smothering Tithe is in every fucking game.
Yes,
It seems like
it is. It is. That's a very good ramp card. Very
Yeah.
good. Not just like a good white ramp card. It's a very good ramp card. And I think a problem that Urza has is
kill
it's
that
not,
person.
It's not considered a ramp card where
Yeah.
it is if you have any sort of artifact like theme in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people just think of it as a very powerful card, but not necessarily a ramp card.
Yep.
So that was
third
fourth.
third is red then.
Third is black.
Oh wow, red
Yeah.
got really high. Okay.
Yeah. So
So you didn't even count treasures in there. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So the big thing was like, I thought there would be more rituals, but they really shifted that over to red earlier than I thought,
Yeah, I guess.
and,
There
and they
isn't any
went
newer
way
stuff with
hard
it.
into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so you don't.
How much did black have?
Black had 37 instances of
Wow,
ramp.
these still are not much at all.
Not at
That's
all.
Crazy. There's not that much. Okay. All right.
And so, like, I did consider Liliana of the Dark Realms, which goes and gets a swamp and puts it into your hand. I was just like, yeah, I mean,
That works.
it's as good, but it's not. It's similar to like land tax, which I kind of cut from white. So like, because it's not ramp, it's land consistency, not ramp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh,
I'd
but
consider it.
yeah.
I
So,
consider it ramp. It's
Yeah,
ramp, but whatever. White's gonna stay where it's at. It's fine.
and so second place was going to be red with 67 instances. And again, I didn't put treasures in here, but green far and away with 256 instances of ramp. Is that more than all of them combined?
Nah. Oh, maybe because those are
Maybe.
early ones. Yeah, you might be right. 60.
140.
Yeah, that totally is.
70.
It totally is.
Yeah,
the
that's
early-
like
the first-
130 to 150.
Yeah, that's
Jesus Christ.
crazy.
Jeez.
Oh,
So green just
man.
dominates in the ramp category,
Yeah.
like not even, and that's probably why you're sick of seeing like, oh, Smothering Tithe, because there's just no other options,
Yeah.
right? Now it's just like, okay, now we have 3 to 4 good ramp cards in white. Those still just go in every white deck because that's all you have. Right.
Exactly.
So,
That's okay. So we got all the numbers out. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny what you had mentioned before. White takes first place in 2 of the categories. So that's obviously it's got to be number 1, right? Well, we'll get to that in a second. So white takes first place in 2 of them. First place goes to blue for draw. Green gets ramp. What else did we have? We have recursion. What got recursion? Was white also?
black.
Black. Oh, that's right. Black was first in recursion, and spot removal was red. So each color was represented by its thing that it does.
Yeah.
Tabulating the numbers. Beep, boop, beep, boop, bop, boop, beep, boop, boop.
We have a real robot running these numbers.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, bop, boop, boop. Get my calculator out. Get it right here. Oh, there. Can you hear that? It does
Yeah,
show
I
up.
can. I'm impressed that you had a calculator nearby.
I always have it, but I have to
Who the fuck
calculate
do you
my,
have? You have a cell phone.
Yeah, but you have to do big calculations when you're dealing with the numbers that I'm dealing with.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so in 5th place, drum roll, yep. Surprisingly, is blue. Blue.
Because
With
it's bad
15
at
points.
ramp, bad at recursion.
Yeah, it got 5th place in mass removal. It was first in draw. It was 3rd in protection. Where did you have it? You had it. You had it 4th in almost every category in yours, wasn't it? And it tied,
Yeah.
wasn't it? At
Yeah.
one point. So yeah, 15 points for blue, and that is our worst color. There's a lot of people that are by the numbers.
What?
What? Blue? I'm not listening to this garbage podcast.
These
I don't
guys
know
are
what they're
bad. They're bad
we
at
just-
magic.
We're going by the numbers. It just comes out as it comes out. Don't blame us. Blame the math, or not even the math, just numbers.
Blame wizards for blue being the worst.
Worse.
The worst.
Coming just above blue at 4th place, white. White, even though it won 2 of the categories,
Just,
it still came in second to the
it's
bottom.
just so shit.
The categories it didn't win in, it did shitty. It was in 5th
So
place.
bad.
It was in 5th place, and then 4th and 3rd place. So it did not do well. All right, and then coming in 3rd place with 17 was red. Red came in
Okay.
2nd.
All right.
So right now, all these are close though. 15, 16, and 17.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's
like,
just-
I feel like red and white feel like they're number ones right now because they beat blue anyway. They're just like, we fucking won.
fuck you, blue. Counter this, bitch.
And they're doing some type of barn dance on their grave. It's just like,
Stone Cold Steve Austin on there. Just fucking. What is it? Triple X did the this thing.
Triple X?
You know the or what is that? Triple X.
oh,
What is his name?
it's Triple H.
Triple H. Didn't he do that? The
Yeah,
leg thing?
that was
Yeah,
D-Generation X.
Yeah. All right.
Come on.
Triple X. You know, porn.
No. No.
All right. Between who comes in 2nd place between black and green? Actually, I'll say first first place goes to black, actually. So second place was green. Actually, black kind of ran away with it. So green came out with 18 points. So we had blue at 15, white at 16, red at 17, green at 18. Black was the biggest jumper with 22 points. So it beats everything by quite a bit because it came in first. All right. First place, we had second, hit second 3 times.
Yeah.
And then it was only fourth at the very bottom of, and that was the first one. No, what was that one?
Protection.
Yeah. Yeah. So
protection was like, but like, you know, like when you think black, you're like removal. So it's mass, removal for its spot. It's definitely a recursion color, and everybody's shitty at ramp. So like, that was just a shit show.
Fill it in with artifacts
anyway,
and
yeah.
you're fine. Yeah.
And so like it kind of was going to dominate with the removal category.
Yeah.
As it was.
Are you surprised with how these numbers came out? Like, I'm surprised with blue's position.
I am with blue, but like white, red,
They're in the
green,
spots that we
black,
thought.
like those are relatively close. Blue is surprising, like you're saying. And
if you were to move things around with how we play with blue and all that stuff, where would you put blue? I think I agree with the black being number one. I personally, green is my number one because it does.
Yeah, I mean, in
doing.
my mind, it feels like green is the best color.
Yeah.
And then like black and blue are similar, and red and white are similar, but white is clearly worse.
I mean, we didn't add the category of big fucking awesome creatures in here because if we did that, green would run away with it.
I don't know. Blue has some really good fucking huge creatures too. I mean, okay, so like, let's talk about that weighting of what we're discussing right now. So like, when
we also missed game winners. How do you even categorize that? You know,
I don't know.
Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
So like, if we wanted to talk about like the categories and like what's important or not, like when you look at blueprints and how people put together decks, like when we're talking recursion, that's like maybe 3 pieces unless it's like a recursion actual deck, and protection is 3 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, I probably that's probably a good number. 3 to
and
maybe
then
a little higher, but it depends.
And then
on
when you're
deck,
talking
how
about
important
like
your commander is,
when you're talking about ramp, you want to be over 15 pieces in there,
ramp
and when
is
you're draw,
nice.
you're 15 more. So like it's like when you're having those,
percentage wise, if you do it on the pie chart, you'd have ramp and draw taking up half of the pie chart, and then the other 4 taking up the bottom half.
So it's like in your deck, it should be like land is like a third of the pie, ramp and draw should be another third of the pie, and then the last third is like recursion, removal, like the rest of your deck,
protection,
and you're just like. So when you're looking at that pie chart, make sure that you understand that you want your lands in there, and then you need ramp and draw, and that's why green and blue are so good in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And why green is so good, because green has respectable draw consistently, and it just by far and away blows every other color out with ramp.
Yeah,
like there isn't anything even close there. And so that's where I would be like, green is the most well-rounded color in my mind. Black probably can do everything because they pay life, and that's kind of their deal too. And then blue is able to deal with everything because of counterspells.
Mm-hmm.
Like
fucking counterspells.
When without counterspells, spot removal, they had 16. Spot removal. With counterspells, they have 277 different counterspells.
Yeah,
and so that like puts them in the conversation, at least respectable. But like, so when you have a counterspell, you're able to deal with everything.
Right. And that's an interesting thing there too, is the spot removal doesn't really work with that if it's on the battlefield with blue stuff, but it is a very good form of, it's the best form of spot removal and removing the threats. But that's why we don't play with it, because it sucks. I'm just kidding. No, but so if you weigh those a little bit more, it would kind of change a little bit. So you'd have, let's say we put more importance on the draw aspect and the ramp aspect, which is what we kind of feel are the most important. The others are are important, but those are what you normally, and you can go back to our blueprint. I'm pretty sure, I'm just going off the top of my head. We have those as having more cards, like you were mentioning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than the others combined. You know, you take those two and you combine all the other ones, the 4 other categories, and they won't combine to this amount. So in those, blue is number 1 by far, and green is number 1 by far.
Yeah.
You have second is black for draw, third is green for draw. What is the ramp positioning in that as well? I forgot where you had that.
I mean, the others don't really matter.
Yeah,
like,
I guess you were saying red and everything.
Red, and then everything else.
Close. Yeah. So it kind of works itself out to, and that might be personal preference though.
Yeah.
I mean, because I like blue, and that's
Could be
coming from a person that does not like playing counter spells. It's just I like what blue does, and it's mainly because of the draw, because it has 667 different forms of drawing. So
yeah,
it may not have all the answers, but you're drawing enough that you can find an answer. You are able to get through your deck and get to a color that is better at what it does than what blue is doing.
And think about, like, with the draw, and every instance of that was like 600 whatever, and then compared to spot removal for red with 644 instances of removal just dealing damage to a creature. But like, drawing a card is just so much better than dealing 1 damage and maybe taking out a 1 toughness creature. Right.
Or the other part is you're going to be playing your draw as soon as you can to draw more cards. You're not necessarily playing that spot removal. You're holding it.
Yeah.
You have a lot less of those in your deck than you do with the draw. You're trying to get more cards in your hand to have more options for things.
And so, like, mechanically in a deck, like, just drawing, like we've been saying, like, drawing and ramping is so important in this game that we call Magic. And so, like, again, like, when we're putting numbers to, like, white, black, blue, and red in ramp category of, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, like, green only gets a 5 when it's 4 or 5 times more than all of them, twice as big as all of them combined. You're just kind of like, well, maybe that would get like 10 points.
Extra points.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the others are like 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, that's not a bad idea of maybe have done percentages wise a little bit more, because of it, but going off of our blueprint stuff by, this is ways more.
You're just adding so many more numbers.
I know.
Like, this is just
but
so
that's why
easy. And so we're just discussing it. But like, so like at the same time, like when we're talking about, like, you need good ramp pieces in the 15 to 20 range so that you got stuff to choose from, and just no other color really has that other than green. And then when you're talking about spot removal, they all have like options. You don't always have to go Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshare, but you probably will because they're just that good. And so if you just have like a couple of premium spells in each of those slots, for the lower ones like spot removal, mass removal, protection, recursion, like if you just have like 3 to like 7 good ones that you can choose from, you're going to be set. Like, it doesn't matter how many like instances that you have, unless you're on, unless there's a theme or something going on. So like that also comes into like quality versus quantity and making sure that it just can do that. Like having one of White's best ramp cards is like, a card that goes and puts any land into your hand. That's not even a ramp. You know what I mean? But that's some of the best that White has. But if it's paired with green, it's not seeing play.
Right.
But if it's only, if it's white and any other color, then it probably sees some play. So it just, as long as you have some options within that color, and it's nice to have options rather than like, okay, I'm playing white, I have to play land tax, I have to play Archaeomancer's map, or because that's all I have. And I think that's a big issue.
You know what we could have done and made this even longer time to spend on this is we could have gone through and cross-referenced each one and been like, okay, which ones are actually playable and nailed that down.
That's actually what I was hoping we would go for when I kept on going, are you sure we want to be doing this? I was hoping you were going to say this, but this was more your deal. So
you were hoping that we would cross-reference and go down?
That would be my preference, to kind of go through and like, what is actually like, what do I think is playable within?
Okay, we're not done with this yet. We can do that still, and this is by the numbers. Fuck. Now we can take those numbers and because you know how much work that's going to be. Is you're going to have to kind of go in and be like, how many decks are actually using this card?
No. I think that could be opinion based and just be like, this is good, this is good, this is pretty bad.
Maybe it's a thing that 2 dimes in Nico could do. They could put in. Oh wait, he won't put in more work. It would be less work. So
I would just say like we have a good enough base knowledge to understand what people play with and what isn't good enough. Like, because like a 4 mana single like spot removal is not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. So maybe this is our little bit of a homework for next week, and maybe we'll just do a little 10-minute segment on it and just the numbers broken down. So this was the best colors by the numbers. Maybe next week we'll actually break down what
what is at least decent. It doesn't even have to be playable. It just has to be like decent. Mm-hmm. So like I don't play Murder for black spot removal, but that's decent. Like I'm not like, sure. Oh, that's awful.
Because you also got to think of like cheap stuff too. You know, we might play with like $5-10 removal spells, but you might have more budget players that are playing with this. That's why I was like saying cross-referencing EDH rec type stuff.
As long as it's like decent, even if it's not played a ton, I think it's fine. But as long as it's decent, but there's some white cards that are like exile target artifact or enchantment, sorcery, 4 colorless white, and you're like, holy shit, that's bad. Like that shouldn't even be made. Like that's just bad. So,
but it counts to the numbers.
Yeah, Avacyn Restored. By the way, it's a card.
I don't know. It'd be funny if we do this. We refine the numbers, and all it does is just shrink the numbers and keep everything.
If it was just the same, that'd be really interesting, because that would show you that like having more like focus on that allows like a broader range of like choices. Mm-hmm. So that I think could be more. That could be interesting.
All right. Well,
is that what we're doing next week?
We got it.
Well, we'll see how this one does for people, and then like if we got a huge drop off next week.
Hopefully, blue players will have a little bit of redemption next week. Maybe
we might get an email or two, at least from
number 2 is going to get
from number 2 from his multiple accounts. We'll get messages. Blue's the best.
Fuck green. All right. I think that'll do it for this week. You guys know what we're doing next week, so don't forget to vote. It is the fucking 4, or no, it isn't. That's not what it's called.
It's how your voice is heard.
Fuck these 4 is what we have. 4. So fuck the 4. And then next week is the finals. So get out there and vote. That should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.
I love boobs. I'm talking tatas. I love boobs. I'm bonkers for honkers. I love boobs. Thanks for the memories. I love boobs.
Are we cheersing? We can do that.
Cheers. Beep.